Hello, hello, hello. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're getting started with another interview. King Solomon Entertainment. Thank you guys again. I cannot thank you enough. I mean, this platform has really taken off and really getting the momentum where you can't even keep up. But we're so grateful that the feedback we've been getting is amazing and that we're able to really get the momentum going. And we have another great, wonderful interview today with another great talent. This is Hollywood Now, where we interview Hollywood stars, Hollywood celebrities, and Hollywood insiders that add a wonderful component to the machine that makes Hollywood move. And we want to thank you guys for supporting King Solomon Entertainment and the programming that we bring into you and the feedback. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. We definitely want to see the audience interaction as we continue to grow. Definitely subscribe on YouTube, James Claiborne Interviews, on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, King Solomon Entertainment Company. Also, we have the website, kingsolomonentertainment.tv. Please go on there, subscribe, email us, send us messages, and we will connect with you and reach out and definitely reach out to us and we'll be connected. So, and also if you want to support this platform directly, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, please support if we can continue to keep this going. And if you are interested in being sponsored or partner with us as a sponsor, please reach out. We want to thank our sponsors, the Moreland Greenwood Foundation, Heart to Heart for You, Heal to Heal, USC Black Alumni Association, and definitely those that support us and all that you do. We're going to bring our guest in right now and start the interview. So, guys, thank you guys so much for your continued support, and we're just going to continue to move forward and grow. Today we have the incomparable LyNea Bell from the BH Talent Agency.
Or LB. Everyone knows me
LB,
as LB.
LB, as you all know, LB.
Hi.
And please introduce yourself.
LB.
LB, and you are
I'm LB with BH Talent. I'm owner, senior talent agent, owner, president, talent agent, literary agent. I call myself Agent to the Stars. That's my little branding tag.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for being patient and having me on here.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on. And again, we expanded the Hollywood Now, not just for talent, but for insiders such as yourself. I know I've been around for a minute and I have seen you at several events doing what you do. And also the fact that you were the only one at a particular time that was doing it. Like, it seemed like it was a small community of agents as well as Black agents, and that were doing what you're doing. And that has a connection and a response to talent that was so unparalleled, because a lot of talent was sought after you. I could be at the festival, everywhere I would see you. We had to get a line to see LB. So please tell us how that journey been. Where did it all start for you? How do you want to be an agent?
Well, okay, so my mom was in the industry forever. She was a singer, she was a writer, producer, right? So I kind of grew up around it, and she was an actress, right? So I grew up around it. Fast forward to, I'm from Seattle, and I dated someone, I won't say names, for 10 years. 10 years. So and that was in the music industry. So again, it was things that I was already doing and I was around. Then I used to host video shows. I had my own TV show. So I did a lot of things. There was interviewing and so forth. So I remember being in a car accident maybe 12 years ago. And my little brother, he's a music artist. He met a manager, and this manager talked to me while, because I was recovering from the accident. And he was like, wow, your sister's very smart. She knows her stuff. So he asked me to partner with him, and we did a, what was it? We did a screening for Angel Conwell, and I met Sheila Leggett. She was with Media Artist Agency, and when we met, and I want to say that was like 7-8 years ago or whatever, she was like, yeah, let's talk, right? Because everybody was like, oh, are you running this? Are you in charge? Because I just do things naturally. So it was like, no, we're going to do this. we're gonna, and I just, again, it was a natural thing because I've been around it all my life. So anyway, Sheila and I became partners. I worked at Media Artist Group. I was there for about 2 years. We started the comedy. We did a lot. Sheila showed me the game, and when I started with Media Artist Group, that's when I got the title. I never knew what I was doing had a title.
Yes. Yes. See,
my journey, I thought I was going to be an attorney. That's why they call me L Business, right? Because it's all about contracts.
That's
and,
it. Yeah, no, that's good.
And then the sweet side of me was caring and being being a nurse, right? So it was nurturing and so forth. So those are some of the qualities or quality skills that you get from me because of the journeys that I wanted to take or wanted growing up. So fast forward, I left Media Artist Group, and one of my clients had met this other agent. And I called him and I said, hey, I'm looking for some other agencies to go to. Do you have connects? He said, yes, right here. And he said, you can build out, you can do whatever. And I was blessed that a lot of my clients followed, or a lot of the clients that we had, some left, some stayed. And they got to decide what they wanted to do. And the thing that I want to share with in that journey was, even if there is some type of issues, like I told you earlier today, lemons are thrown at people every single day. It's the lemonade that you make out of it. And that was what happened to me at Media Artist Group. I built something. They were mad that I didn't translate it. I didn't share it. I would have had they paid me for it. And being a Black woman in this industry, they were trying to rob me. I won't say Sheila, because Sheila was my partner. I love her. But it was the owner, and he was trying to rob me. And he said, you know what? You need your own stuff. Fast forward to, thank you for calling that into existence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I stayed at the additional agency. I was there for about 1.5 years. And the entertainment, my partner, which is Tim Hall, love him. He's the one that makes sure my team gets paid, which is the talent, right? He makes sure everybody gets paid. He was like, yeah, you're boss lady too. You need your own agency. So he helped seed Bell Hall Talent. And that's what the AKA is, BH Talent. That's the short version of it.
Yes.
So I've been in this or doing this for years. Our agency opened in January 2016. So proud Black owner, super happy, and he lets me run. And since then, I've added on 3 other partners. We're all women running this operation, so I'm super proud of that, because you have women in charge, and we're actually blended. But I love that fact, and I love the growth factor. And we are now full service. We have youth, we have adults, commercial, theatrical, television, you name it, we do it. And my specialty, or my love, or my heart passion, is the literary side, which is TV scripts, selling projects and stuff like that for the saleswoman in me.
Now you developed, like you said, all this organically, didn't know it had a name. And so your value is knowing what you're doing, the skill set and the relationship that you develop. At what point did you recognize what you had value to where you say, hey,
Sarah, go ahead and finish your question.
No, what you have value to say, well, hey, I need to be in control of this because I built this and it has value. And so it's what gave you the strength to move forward to say, I know enough to do this on my own? What did that come from?
Well, I will say faith. That's one.
Okay.
Faith. That's my belief. 2, I heard everybody else saying it. In my past, I've run companies before. I used to have wireless communications. I had 7 stores. Before that, I was a VP of operations. Before that, I was a VP of sales, right? So I had that. Going into this journey, it was a lot of unknowns, and it was a lot of, am I good enough? But I had to stand on faith and the things that I knew, and not worry so much about all the things I didn't know. Now, you talked about the value aspect. The clients that I had, I knew they were valued. So what made me strong is fighting for the value to everybody else. Yes. So when they sent us BS deals, I won't say BS because I don't want to get it. When they sent us deals that I didn't feel were valued enough of the talent I had, that's where the pit bull in me came in and said, no. Right? And that's where I got to do what I do naturally, is fight for those things that I believe in.
Yes.
And so that's kind of what's been happening.
Yeah.
And what I'm really good at. I do it naturally without even trying.
So to echo that, because that's also another issue that a lot of people talk about, but rarely from the inside. And I would like your perspective on it. as when the disparity in pay, um, if from people of color, when you're doing these deals and you say the deals come in as not as reflecting of talent, what has been your take on that, and how do you approach that as far as getting the deals that they deserve?
Okay, well, it's all about negotiation, right? Right? It's all about the negotiation, the budget, and then having each player, because I always want each side to come from a place of whole, right? So we know what this budget is, right? We know who you want, right? And let's figure out why this number can't meet this, especially if we have the history to support it. And then some,
Yeah.
right? So, but you can't say I'm going to pay this person 25K and only give you 5, and their value is greater or if not equal. We're not going to play that game with you. And
Yeah.
what I found is if you don't ask for it, it won't happen. And it just depends on how that's communicated to each party. So we look at finding that medium. I'm looking at making that better, but at least we can all walk away and be happy. And what can we take away from it?
Now,
Maybe
if
somebody.
now, if I may, LB, I
Yeah.
don't like to use the term devil's advocate. I'll use angel's advocate. If I could play angel's advocate,
Angel. Okay.
people use the
Angels.
term devil's
Angels
advocate. I
advocate.
like
I
to
like
use that.
that.
I like to
Okay.
say the term angel's advocate.
Okay.
Speak to those who say, well, if you take this for this, then maybe later the big money will come. What makes you decide that it's important to get the money you feel or meet somewhere in the middle that they deserve, or as if you keep working and maybe next time you will get the big money? What do you say to
Well,
people that say that?
okay. So there were circumstances, but then we asked for that on paper. Like if we know this director or this production company has other projects, I'm going to ask for future stuff and have that added in the contract. Let's say they don't have enough money on the front end, then I'm going to ask for money on the back end, right? Gross, not net, right? So it's again, it's all about the negotiation. And then I talk to my because again, I in my agency, I don't work for any of my talent. And I tell them up front. Some of them think I do. I mean, right? I don't. I work for myself. I work with you. You have your company. I have my company. You pay me to do my job, and that's what we do, right? So we get to decide: is this the best brand for you? Does this make sense? And what are we going to gain from it in the long run, or the short term? Does it make sense? And a lot of times, clients, they want to work, right? So we say, okay, this is what it is, or you know what, we're going to pass on this one. Right? But again, we go in whole, and there's some we're just not gonna do. Like, you know what? Now you're trying to rape the client, and I don't believe in that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so important that people like yourself that knows the ins and out, that better prepares us to make these decisions. That sometimes it is best to walk away. But what would you speak to the inconsistencies of a lot of us working consistently in these projects? What would you speak? How would you say?
Well, I mean, the way a lot of the times, because clients get their own projects, they get followed and so forth, and then because a lot of times I find that sometimes they'll put out projects and it's like anybody's game, right? And I've said, well, you're a different type of client, so you're gonna get more, but sometimes it's just not in the budget for that, right? So they have to kind of decide if that makes sense to continue on to keep doing it, right? And that's what it is. If production puts out projects and that's just the low budget it is, it's the low budget it is.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to do my due diligence and I'm going to do my job and I'm going to ask, hey, you know what? We ain't getting down with this 335, 500. You know what? Our day rate is like 25. Can you work with me? Or $5,000, 25. Yeah. This is what can you do?
Yes.
Oh, your budget's only this? Okay, let's see how we can work this in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, I need a producer credit then.
Yes, and absolutely.
I need something on the back end. You want this because you're going to leverage my talent's name.
Yes.
Right? Okay, let's talk about that.
Yes.
Let's make this work for both parties.
Yes.
Because they're going to add value for you.
Absolutely. So how do you speak to the ever-changing paradigm shift of Hollywood? How do you adjust to that? How do you stay abreast and on top of
read?
Yes.
We're reading. We're staying connected because that's what it's all about. It's relationships, right? I stay behind a box, and a lot of times you see me out so I can be out networking and meeting.
Yes.
Because everybody would have me behind a desk, but I'm more than behind a desk person. I'm a networker, I'm a connector, I'm a phone person, right? So that's kind of how we stay abreast. Relationships, meetings, and just staying current, reading the trades. You have to do that. And then staying in contact with clients as well, because they be trying to hit me to all kinds of stuff. LB, did you see this? LB, did you? I'm like, okay, hold on, I'm on it. Hold on.
What they call them, the beehive, the LBNs be out there.
L business. They're like, oh, it's L business.
That's really good. But what would you say to the importance of relationship building? How have that come back full circle to really help? Like, you establish relationship with networks and production companies. How did that work in your favor in the future?
With anything.
Yeah.
We met how many years ago?
Yeah. Oh, about that had to be 7 or 8. Yeah.
Okay, and because of that relationship, I'm talking.
No. That's a good example.
That's how because everything has a purpose, right?
Yes, yeah.
And when those purposes me, because everybody wants to win. I come from I want everybody to win, right?
Yeah.
So if we're looking for future fast forward thinking, it's how can we win? Because again, it might be in my favor, it might be in their favor, but how about both of our favors? So that's kind of the take I look at that when I build relationships.
Now,
I want to, and I do my best because I get a lot of information coming in. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, but yeah, I try.
Now, like I said before, in your experience, because a lot of talent, they need representation and they seek after you, and that's rare. But what would you look for in a talent that determines who you sign and who you do not?
Okay, so initially the vision of the agency when it was had started, I believe everything happens full circle, right? Once great, took a break, right? So you're always great, always an Emmy Award winner, always some type of award winner, and that accolade will never die. That award will never die. So I was trying to be a boutique agency that just specialized in that niche, right? Because a lot of people, they get burnt out, they take their break, but if you look at history, it always repeats itself.
Yes.
So that was my niche. And then we started expanding because of the inbounds, and I start looking at people's wills and what I saw for future, or if we could see that, if they can come in and know what their brand is, because that's what it's all about, right? If they know who they are, then we built that. But if you come in green and you know nothing, then that, to me, that is puppy, that's development, that is time frame. And I look at loyalty. That's a huge thing. I love the ones that already did all that, like relationships. They're ready to settle down. They want that one person they can trust, knows their business, and is willing to work as hard as they are.
Yeah, but in the future, do you think you will create a department component of BH talent that deal with green and new talent?
We do.
We
already do. So when you ask about that, I do take people that haven't had nothing, because I believed in them. I believed in them so much. They believed in them so much. I believed in them, right? And if I see something there, I'm like, I'm with you. Let's see. But don't expect it to be overnight. That's the expectation portion of that. But I'm here, so let's look and see how we can build that together.
Yes, well, that's wonderful. So, like I said, with the ever changing, moving forward, what do you see you going to be doing differently to continue to get the results, as like when Hollywood start back up? How are you going to assess the paradigm shift, and what are you going to be doing differently that is going to continue to help you to book their clients and keep your clients working?
Well, one of the cool things is before this happened, we were already working on this I was already building this infrastructure, this digital, if you will, everything being, I created this whole infrastructure on SharePoint. So my clients had to digitally upload stuff. So we were already doing some of this stuff, right? And I built this because I'm a geek head. Don't tell nobody. I built this whole infrastructure, and I hired some other people, but I knew what I wanted from that. So differently, what I love right now is helping us is that it's not just some of the same clients. They're looking at the full roster now. So for me, I get to continue doing what I was doing, but now not even now, but still continually pushing the additionals that we did before that maybe they weren't ready to see. So we look at this as an advantage versus a disadvantage. Because again, before it was just name, 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 name. Now it's, ooh, who do you have? The relationships I build is, who else do you have? Let me see some other folks as well. Or reintroducing the name, 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 name they forgot, because there's so many new people coming on, meaning on the other side.
Yeah. So you said now with this new database you created, the individual talent that you sign could constantly upload their work that they're working on themselves.
And then we send it out. Exactly. So that for us was great. Our contract system was great because it was all digital, right? Majority of it. So like when we shut down, we were like, fine, we're already prepared to work from home.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It wasn't that big transition for me. A little bit harder because I did a lot admin as well.
Yes.
But my team, they were like, oh yeah, we got this. We're already here. We were already being able to assess things mobily and still live our lives or not do whatever we wanted to do, but we did it from the compounds of our home. So for us, it was like, oh, okay, this ain't nothing new. We're used to this.
How is it? How important is it that talent as well as other components that make Hollywood run go after the studio stuff and the production company stuff, but also do their own, like you say, their own production for themselves? Because lots of times it don't happen overnight. But you still
content is queen and king.
Yeah.
Right. But again, that saying hi to some of your content is king or queen. But to me, if you so when I interview people, because I'm going side, but I want to add to what you said, but I'm gonna answer your question directly. We're gonna pitch you. To me, it's all about packaging. And if you don't have your packaging and you're still on that build up of your packaging, that's where your content's gonna come in. Just like when you do any kind of brand, even for your company, right? If you're not packaged correctly and it doesn't look well, right? And I'm giving them some broken stuff, unless that's what they were looking for, but then I'm gonna package that as well, then you're not ready, and that becomes some time. So I'm going to say do some self-tapes. I'm going to say keep practicing your skill set, and growing your skill set for those very reasons, right? So then we can introduce that so they can say, ooh, I like that gruff. I don't want you to be that polished. I mean, the seniors, they already know, right? The networks have looked at them polished, and they looked at them unpolished, right? Because they saw something there. So so going back to your thought process, have your own content. You don't know what you're going to do, but the more you practice it, you evolve from that aspect. So you can actually start seeing yourself for who you are, for where you want to see yourself. Because if I tell you what that is and that's not who you are, you're not going to be authentic to the screen. Everybody says acting is acting, but trust me, if you're not developed to the left side, when you can only master the right side before you do that jump, it's not going to come off clean. If that answers your question.
No, that's amazing. It's really important, because not only does it help you to know who you are, know who your brand are, to help you cultivate your skill set, but when you come full circle, then you're able to say, okay, this is what I can do with it. This is what I can.
Right, and you've added and you expand. So I usually tell clients, I said, you're going to master this. Know your 5 characters, know this, know who you are, you naturally, because sometimes it's hard, right? And a lot of times when they come back to just their base level, you've ever had those moments like, okay, well, what did I used to do? I used to do this naturally, right? And they were like, oh my God, you're good. And you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing, right? Those are the new ones. But then when they start looking at themselves and examining it, then that comes onto a whole nother set of lens, and it becomes a little confusing.
It's really important, and it all goes together, because you don't know what they're looking for. So you and also understand that there are other ways to put your stuff out there as well. And this is effective. The internet is definitely giving more opportunity. Digital media. So it's really going to say, there's really no excuses, but you definitely have to be ready.
But know who you are at the end of the day. People say, I want to be an actor, but what does that mean to you? What is your brand? When I look at it, like Viola Davis, what does she do? She does, you know what I mean? I love her, but she does her signature, right? What is yours? That's what I say. Who are you? They're going to hire you for your brand. What did you leave them thinking of, or are you trying to be everybody else? What makes you stand out? I know people like me because I speak my mind. I don't care. I mean, I do. I have to play the politics. From the previous agent, he was like, "Ooh, you're so ooh. You just need to tone it down a little bit. Your words."
Yeah.
But it made me self-conscious, and then I was no longer being me.
Yeah.
So I say be you, but be the best of the game being you, and
Yeah.
that's being played so you can get what you want from it.
Yeah.
But don't change yourself for anybody
And
because
they
you're taking away
appreciate that
yourself.
tenacity when that deal go through. They appreciate the tenacity then, because that same tenacity works for you on the other end as well as on the front end too. So when you get developed, you want that same aggression, because on that back end, she's gonna fight for you in the same matter in that boardroom. So
Yes.
it's amazing. But what you do is very, very amazing. Like I said, it was very few people doing, even today, what you're doing to be a descriptive and a substantial representation of African Americans and just great talent.
Thank
And
you.
the unrecognized, the under-recognized, and to talk to someone who's in there fighting in the meeting room for that, to shorten the disparity gap. And I don't think they know how important that is, to have someone who's able to articulate. Because so many times we see the saga and the sad stories of how people were done wrong and the bad contracts and how it ended with such turmoil. But here you are with information to empower people to
Yes.
say, hey, it don't always have to go that way. This is what you could do. And, just keep going. So it's really important that they hear from you, who's in that room.
Well, I used to be the one internally, and now I'm sharing some stuff. I used to say I had the broken wing, right? Like I had the scarred, right? I had even me, I was scarred. I was done dirty, and I always said I never want that to happen to anybody on my watch. So I became this protector, like, no, 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 no. Hold on, let me read this. Hold on, let me see this. Some things were making sure that we, or our team, made sure the talent was protected so they could go off and do what they needed to do and be happy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's because, again, we got it. I heard all the stories, and hearing those stories and reading them, I became, that's never going to happen on my watch.
Yes.
Never. Right. And then some talents, they would ask me, I felt like Kerry Washington without, the affairs, where it was, I had to clean up the stuff. They'd be like, LB, I made a mistake. This is what I did. And I would be mad because I would have to go clean it up. But that was to save face so we can make these things work in the future.
Yes, it's amazing. So in your own words, LB, you pretty much established what your agency is about. Tell me your goal, your purpose, the full circle for the DH Talent Agency. Like, where will you see yourself going? Like, what do you want to happen for your company and for Time Split?
We're global, and the vision of the agency was global. Now take it international.
Okay.
So the talent I had, we are not limited to just LA. Talent I have on my roster, they're already global, so I'm global, right? So I will refuse to put myself in that box. So I, even getting into this, I was like, what do you mean they have an agent in Atlanta? I'm Atlanta. I'm in California, but I'm Atlanta. I'm New York. I'm Chicago. I'm Dallas. I'm wherever you need to be. That's where you are. I'm going to be there too.
Wow.
So when I look at that, because that is how far their reach is, that's how far our reach has already been.
Yes.
Right. And we can negotiate. We did international deals.
Yeah.
Right. So when you say, where do I see myself? That's where we are in my thought process.
Wow.
Okay.
So amazing.
I would like 10 agents. We're at 5 now. I'd like 10. I want to open up an animation department. I would like to go public, be a public owned agency.
Yeah.
That is, yes, that's actually happening. And I want to see everyone win. When the vision of the agency was to be an ecosystem, because I have producers, writers, directors, actors, voiceovers, you know what I mean? We had all these different components, and I said, and I used to say a Black Wall Street, but now it's no longer the black, it's just the Wall Street, right, of an agency like the other ones do. And why can't we? And I'm like, if I have a director, why not look in-house? If I have a writer, why not look in-house? Why not everybody win? Yeah. We at one point looked at opening a network, And then now we're working on hedge funds to be able to financially fund some of these projects. So when you look at that, those are some of the things that we're looking for. But that's how I see the agency, all an ecosystem. Everybody works, everybody eats, everybody moves. And it's not limited.
Yes. And you're going to be doing these projects from out of your own agency.
That's the plan. Yes.
Amazing, amazing. No, that's it. That's the future. That's the goal, and that's amazing. But it's predicated from the work you've done, and I love the organic effect of it because I believe the sincerity and the genuineness when you have to be uh, the uncorrupt in the midst of a corrupt,
Yeah.
industry, and you approach it in such an uncorrupt way and such with such love and appreciation. I believe those things are cultivated from that
Passion.
answers all. You know what I'm saying? And for people to see like what Ty Perry's doing, that we in our mind thought it could be done long ago, but here he is, he's doing it. And it's like it comes alive when somebody who really has the right intentions make it come alive and say, hey, we can do it. We are doing it.
We
We
are
are
doing
this.
it.
This is what we do
Yes.
here.
Because
I'm
he saw it.
everywhere. We
Yeah.
there because we are, And it's just beautiful. And it's limited when it has that dynamic to it. And like I said, I appreciate you being on the platform. I'm definitely have you on again. You have to do a panel for us.
Of course, I'd
I,
love to.
I love what you're doing. It's amazing. Definitely share your social media handles and let people know to reach out to you. New talent division, talent, reach out. Please share with
So
the
you
audience.
can, my agency is Bell Hall Talent. On Instagram is BH_talent. Same thing, that's Instagram. Same thing with Twitter, Facebook. And then my handle is at I am LyNea Bell, LyNeaBell, aka LB. So if you say LyNea, I'll tell you a funny story. One of my clients I had for like 6 months, and he was used to calling me LB, and I said, "Do you know my name?"
That's
Because
funny.
again, when they would hear LyNea, they'd be like, "Who is that?" I
Right.
used to laugh.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I went with LyNea, I mean LB, is because hearing my name said incorrectly. So I said, "Here, let me help you," which was a form of branding for myself to make it easy.
Yes. Everybody know LB.
Everybody knows LB,
Yeah.
exactly.
So thank you so much for doing this platform for us, Hollywood Now.
Thank you. I'm so
Interview.
proud of you. Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
so
I
much.
commend you
Definitely,
for doing this. And thank you for staying in contact with me.
we're gonna definitely be in collaboration. Like I said, Hollywood Now is about interviewing Hollywood stars, Hollywood talent, insiders, and we just moving forward. It's growing very rapidly. I knew you would be a very intricate component in this because, like I said, it's rare that we have such talent and representation, of substantial and descriptive like you. And I said I knew I was going to talk to Renee because she's doing it. And like you said, you created such a body of work that is so needed and undervalued in my perspective.
Thank
But
you.
it definitely could be used to enhance across the board everything you're doing as far as talent and entertainment. And
Thank you.
so I just really take my hat off to you. And thank you guys for watching another interview with Hollywood Now.
Thank you,
PA
everyone.
Talent Agency LB. Thank you guys so much on all social media. King Sound Entertainment Company. Reach out, subscribe, share, comment. YouTube, please subscribe. James played the interview. King Sound Entertainment.tv, please. And thank you so much.
May
LB.
I say something? I'm reading some of the
Please go.
messages. If you want us to consider you, you can send an email to agents@bhtalent.com. Please have headshots, a resume. Please have a reel. Have your stuff together. Please have all your platforms. And if you are green or a development, it's okay to do a self tape. It's okay to show us something because that's what they're looking for. Please get professional photos.
Yes.
Okay. If you got a TV, iPhones take great photos these days, right? But I may have someone that knows what they're doing, so we wouldn't even really know what that looked like. Yeah. I don't want to see stuff in the background, blur that stuff out, right? But the quality you present to us is the quality you have to think about. You want us to give back to you, and if it's not of quality, think about that. And what can you do to step your game up? Yes. If you want to go here. Now, if we see it, we're going to ask you to do these things and be willing to do those things. Yes. You know what I mean? Because everybody says, I want. Then we're like, do this. And it's like, ooh, I'm going to get back to you. Right?
Yeah.
For all the ones that have already made it, I love my team. I love the talent that I have. I am blessed to have the talent I have. Yes. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the talent I have. And I thank them for believing in me. as I believe in them.
Yes, no, it's amazing. Like, to keep doing what you're doing. And like I say, you already in full circle, you're global, and I just continue to wait for wonderful things that will happen out of the BH agency. And
Thank you.
I'm here. Like I say, I'm here for it. So I'll be collaboration for you, and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much for doing the platform. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day, BH. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay. All
Okay,
right,
you too.
lovely.
Take
Thank you.
care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Fuck me. Come on, fucker. LB.